Hello, I'm Dr. Wendy Rowley. This is Heartfield Evolution, a series, and this is episode 6. The information is getting kind of exciting. A new solar and daily cycle coming upon us. That's such an interesting concept and a very big one. So I'm going to get out of the way and let's see what we bring forward today. Oh, good day to you, dearest beings of light. My name is Aliena of Cosmic Service. I am a Pleiadian mother of sound. Peace be with you, and peace be with you. Some people don't understand what happens. This one disappears, and here I am. And how can that be? And when she sees other people's channel, they don't seem to disappear as much as this one. It's because she is doing some fairly advanced energy work. And so she's in a particular pathway that she works in for that. And in that kind of work, it's a different way of doing things. And so she just operates a little differently that way. So it can be a strange thing to see someone come and go and something else come in this type of a way. But we can tell you there's many people on the web who are actually doing this. They just don't let people know. But they often get quite a following because the information coming through is so beautiful and pure and wise. And it is a service. Allowing a higher creational being or eventually an angel, which you don't do now, but you will again, but they are way up at very, very high creational levels working with many aspects for your evolution, and they don't commune so much. There are a few people on the earth who still have the angel channel active, and that is purposeful, but the majority of people actually don't quite commune with that level of creational beings that serve the greater good and the Creator's planetary system, if we can just say it that way for lack of anything else. So there is a belief that anything coming through is either an angel or a devil. And that's where you kind of are with this. What we would like to say about that is that in the September solstice, in the Great Global Healing Party, that will be healed out. It will be healed out of the collective consciousness level. And for individuals who take part in that healing, that polarity construct of seeing it's either an angel or a devil will be cleared out and healed. Because it is something that came upon the earth around 25 years after the passing of the Master Yeshua, who brought in the Christ energy. And what we're going to say is going to be very controversial, and it's going to light some of you up in a good way, and it's going to light some of you up in a bad way. And lighting up is just like, oops, something's coming up. I'm feeling something, or I'm thinking something, so it's going to have an effect on you, and you have a choice. You can either turn this channel off and go somewhere else and just go, not for me. Or you can, if it inspires you, go, I should check this out. And we ask you to do one of those two things and not put negative comments out, because that's just inappropriate. Because if you believe in free press, then why would you choose a freedom of speech that allows you to do detrimental and harmful and mean things to people? Is that in the spirit of love? And is that in the spirit for the best and highest good? So if you don't like something, you don't have to say it. Just move on. Find something you do like. Are you going to focus on the negative or the positive? And this is a question you really need to ask yourself this year, because this is a question that is going to get very, very active within us all because of polarity becoming very active this year. And so should you want to choose to rid this particular construct in polarity on the human consciousness grid out of the collective consciousness of humans and the ancestral, because it's going to be done with the ancestral level in September, and it's going to be done at the human consciousness level in December of this year in the Great Global Healing Parties. There's 3 more. There's one in the June solstice, there's one in the fall equinox, and there's one in the December solstice. And we highly recommend those because they are going to clear a very powerful and profound construct of consciousness that you all have. And Master Yeshua laid all sorts of new alignments for Christ energies infusions, and there are many who have brought this information in that this one has read about. She feels a great attracted to that information, and that's based on soul resonance. And so one of those things was engaged and came online about 25 years after the passing of the Christ. And it was an infusion of that Christ energy into polarity at the higher level. And it caused some energies that were outside of you to kind of Mobius flip in the human energetic anatomy and become inside you, so that the things that were outside of you in polarity are now inside of you. And what it did was it created a fear of the angel or the devil complex. Now, if we were to bring this to a larger level and describe that complex from our level, that complex is not exactly the way your human mind would see it. It is a complex of, do we change or do we stay the same? Do we change or do we stay the same? And it is an indecisive energy of just being frozen. Because when you are in fear between two polarity of opposites, you are frozen. You can't figure out which way to go. You're afraid to take a step one way, you're afraid to take a step another way, because either way, you don't know if you chose the wrong step. And so that's another and better way of looking at this. And I'm going to give you a very controversial thought that this one's been mulling since I said it to her yesterday. Is it possible that the people in the Middle East are not the problem? Is it possible that the war between those two groups of people, and we're not even going to say those words of their names that they are used to describe each other, because we don't want to light you up even over that, because that's very powerful right now going on out there. So we don't want the search engines to hear those words in this channeling. We're not going to say them, because we don't want that to be flagged. But what we were saying is that if an energy came in that's benevolent and part of the Creator's plan, that has to do with, and as we said, the Christ is an evolutionary force. It brings in new pathways of light. So there's always a beacon home. And if an upgrade was given back then so that you could have an experience in that energy and let it percolate up what needed to be healed in that pathway until it could be healed, that's called a sacrifice of service. And so the people in that part of the world, in that particular part of the energetic anatomy of the earth, which you can think of literally as between the East and the Western consciousness, took a particular upgrade so that there could be a further upgrade now in the time you're in. And they had to hold that energy as a friction of the soul until this moment. And they did that for all of us. So I think it's time we freed all of those people from that service work. And that's what the healing this year is about in the Great Global Healing Party. It's about releasing the consciousness of those who had to hold that in service work in that part of the world until now. Now, we're not saying that everything's going to get better and end and just be individual. But should you choose to be at the Great Global Healing Party and you are within any of those nationalities, you will have a shift, and you will know it, and you will know something is different, should you choose to evolve in a different and benevolent way. So, for those who take part in the Great Global Healing Party, they will have the shift within their individual being, and they will know what we're talking about here today. For those who don't, it will take several generations till it becomes part of the new consciousness. And that's the way it goes. So some of you are automatically going, is this a sacrifice of service for us? Are we going to be stuck in an energy that becomes very old and friction-like until we get to take the next step? No, dear one, you will not. Because the paradigm shifts now completely. Because there is no more need for sacrifice for service. And we will explain more of that in the next video. Because, as we are starting to say now, for the first time, there's a new energy cycle that is entering the Earth's solar cycle and your individual daily circadian rhythm cycles that was never there before. And that will be online at the end of 2029. And is it possible at the great shift of a planetary system, there is a need to create something so that you cannot fall backward anymore? Yes, there is. So that's one way you can think of this great new cycle that is being enlivened, vamped up, connected, and brought online over the next 6 years. So that's what we're going to say today. Thank you for accepting this in the most grace-filled way that you can. Strange and different concepts and ideas about evolution and energy and things you're seeing on your planet right now. But hold in faith and continue your prayers to the creative source for peace, solution, change, and for it to be now. Because you are creating greater change just by doing that. You are dearly loved. Expect benevolence in all you do, and we bid you adieu. Peace be with you. All right, this is Dr. Wendy Rowley coming back in, and thank you. I had never planned to be a channel source. I had never planned to be a channeler. I was actually not attracted to it, and I didn't like the idea of renting out my space, but I've decided to do this for this work. So here we are. So both of us are on a new learning curve and doing new things. And may we all join hands together and jump into this new energy and choose this new way for benevolence, grace, and I like to say it, a grace-filled way of making change. Because the old way just isn't working anymore. We can't just grab it from someone else or create a war or well, I don't want to criticize people who are doing things right now, but I think you all know there's a lot of unrest going on out there. This is Dr. Wendy Rowley. This is episode 6 of Heartfield Evolution, and I'll see you in the next episode.